Welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope you're doing well. As you can see, we got a new car here. It's a 2008 Subaru WRX.
And Alex and I are super excited about this car because we picked it up for a crazy good deal. We found this for $2,700, which for those of you who know, for a WRX, that's a crazy good buy.
There's a couple aspects of this WRX that make it a super unique WRX and a really good deal that we'll check out right now.
All right, guys, let me show you the car. So, as you can see, the bumper needs to be repainted and there's some clear damage. Now this is great because this allows us to get a good deal on the car, and it's something that Alex and I will be able to fix ourselves. And if you look at the rest of the car, the body is super straight. There's no dings or dents anywhere, and the paint is very, very nice. All right, let's show you the interior. So as you can see, this interior is beautiful. It's in phenomenal shape. Almost looks like it just rolled off the showroom floor. Now, as we get into the car, you can see that it's a 5-speed manual, which is an extremely desirable feature, something people really like in these WRXs.
One thing that we didn't know about this car when we went to go pick it up is it turns out it was actually originally purchased in Canada, and then about 3 years ago it was imported to the US. There's really nothing that would tell you it's an imported car. The speedometer's in miles per hour, but right here we have the AC control, and as you can see, it is in Celsius, but that is the only feature that would let you know that this car was from Canada, which we honestly had no idea about, but I'm glad that the speedometer is in miles per hour and that nothing else is changed. Overall, this WRX is in super good condition. Most of the time when you find these WRXs, they either are just completely modded out with really strange things. Parts are painted all sorts of different colors, but as you can tell, everything on this car is stock. It even has the original badging right here, which is super rare to find on these WRXs. Up here, we have a little bit more paint damage that we're going to have to be correcting. It's just the clear coat, so what we'll be doing here is just sanding it and then respraying new clear coat. It's a really easy fix, and it'll make the car appear much nicer.
Let me show you what I'm most excited about this car. As you can see, this engine bay is super clean. Not only that, everything's original. All these are OEM Subaru parts, which is super hard to find on a WRX, which makes this even more desirable to find. And I'll turn that over to Alex to tell you why.
Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, usually these WRXs have a ton of crazy mods under the hood, so super rare to find one like this that has absolutely nothing done to it, just OEM parts. It even has the stock downpipe back here, which is really hard to come by because it has a lot of precious metals, and usually people will sell it off and make some money. So we were both thrilled to find out that this engine bay has no aftermarket parts on it. It'll make the resale value of this car higher, and also just the whole experience of working on it much easier. But this engine has a couple issues. That's part of the reason why the car was so cheap that we'll check out.
The main issue that we knew about when we got this car was that it had rod knock, and that's why the owner was selling it, in fact. So for those of you who don't know what rod knock is essentially when a bearing on the inside of the engine is out of spec and over tolerance, which allows the piston to move around and create a slapping noise, which sounds a little bit like this.
As you guys can tell, you definitely do not want to hear that inside your engine. So the first thing that we're going to be doing in today's video is pulling out the engine and starting the whole repair process. While we were just getting ready here to pull the engine, we had kind of a fun idea. I'll let Wyatt tell you what it is.
So since Alex and I have done this once or twice, we decided let's try and speed run this. So we're going to see how fast we can get the engine from in the engine bay to this stand.
I'm thinking it's going to take us about an hour and 45 minutes to pull the engine. What's your guess?
And I'm thinking we can get it in a sub-hour. So before we get going, some rules for our competition that we're setting for ourselves. We have not touched the car at all. We've just rolled it in. There hasn't been one bolt touched. We haven't drained any of the fluids. Nothing. It's not on the jacks already. Tires are on the ground. All right. All we've done is set out some of our tools that we're going to use and clean the toolbox. To ensure that we will not be cheating, we have a time-lapse camera set up right here, going to a live 24-hour clock. All right? So time starts the second we touch the car and ends the second the engine is on the stand right there. All right, guys, we're going to start working on the car in 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's go. All right, guys, so we're about 40 minutes in right now. Things are going pretty smooth. Wyatt's got the whole front end here torn apart. Got the AC condenser off. Right now, I have been dealing with this bolt that is holding the exhaust on. As you can tell, the nut on the bolt is literally coming off at a 45-degree angle. So the last person to mess with this must have just put it on sideways and took the impact to it. So after I get this bolt off here, everything should be pretty smooth sailing and the engine should be on its way out. Well, we just wrapped up about 5 minutes ago. As you can see, the time is now 8:50. So it took us just about an hour and 45 minutes to pull the engine here. What are your thoughts on it, Wyatt? How was that?
Honestly, it went really, really well. We didn't break anything. We ran into a few snafus, but honestly, it was amazing. I'm just so excited.
Yeah, so we're really thrilled that we were able to get the engine out in an hour and 45 minutes. As you can see, here it is on the engine stand. Everything went really well. Nothing broke. Here are all the parts. And then the one main issue that I spent probably about 40 minutes on is right here, the exhaust, the downpipe, which normally has a bolt about halfway under the car. It's connected to the rest of the exhaust. It's called the catback part of the exhaust. But if we go under the car, you're going to see that there is the exhaust right there, and right about there where the bolt should be, somebody decided to weld the exhaust together. So that made it incredibly challenging to remove the downpipe. The entire exhaust system had to come out, which was a big pain. But other than that, we only had a few small issues, and now we have the engine on the engine stand. I would say that was a success. We were able to get the engine out in an hour and 45 minutes, which it totally blew my expectations away. Everything went pretty smooth besides that exhaust, which was a bit of a hiccup.
Yeah, I'd say that went really, really well. That's way fast, probably twice as fast as anything I've ever done personally. And partially that's because this car was so stock and so original. I didn't really deal with any bolts that were over tightened. Nothing was super rusty. It was just a wonderful engine to pull. In our next video, we're going to start taking apart the engine, getting the heads prepped and ready to go be resurfaced, and hopefully break into a little body work. So if that's something you're interested in seeing, be sure and hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps out a lot.
Thank you so much for watching.